Did you remain in touch with Chaplin for the rest of his life? Did you feel a bond? Was he paternalistic toward you? What was the personal relationship?
My relationship was much more with Una, whom I adored, and I loved Chaplin, but I was always extremely conscious of who he was, and not that he made you so, but he was who he was. It's simple. So that I can't say it was a friendship, it was a continued adoration, as you see in the film, and yes, we all remained friends until, sadly, Charlie died first, and then Una died very young.
You know, we don't have much time, but we have a little time, and I want to cover lots of material with your extraordinary career. Claire Bloom's first film is 1948. Her new film, The King's Speech, is coming out this year. I'm not very good in math, but that's a long run. And continuing, and continuing. Just a few highlights of films after this. I think the next really significant film was with Laurence Olivier as Lady Anne to his Richard III. And that's an extraordinary part because you're the widow, he's killed your husband, and he seduces the character. He's attractive and repellent simultaneously. Was Olivier everything he was said to be?
Yes.
Now he directed you also.
Yes.
Tell us about him as a director.
You know, I've been asked this, and it's quite dreadful, but I don't really remember. I think we did the scenes together, and I don't remember any specific direction. He must have given it to me. I'm sorry, I'm extremely uninteresting on this subject, but he was Olivier, and I was acting with him, and you know, you don't need any more inspiration than that. And as for the character, well, there's a wonderful line in one of Ibsen's plays when the young woman says about a man that he is a terrible thing, and someone says, well, what to you is a terrible thing? And she says, something that attracts and repels you, but most of all attracts. And that was the character of Richard III, and that was the scene we played, and it worked.
Sort of, you had to play two colors at the same time, because you feel you detest this man, and be out of your control, you're drawn to him.
It has been known to happen.
Now another charismatic figure in your life is Richard Burton. Alexander the Great, if you haven't seen it, people always make fun of epics from the 50s, and Alexander the Great is a really articulate film with Richard Burton and Claire Bloom. It's really good. I just saw it again. It's really intelligent. And then you played, importantly, again with Richard Burton in Look Back in Anger, kitchen sink realism, a whole new style, and of course in Spy Who Came In From the Cold. And you thought the world of Richard Burton as a performer and as a man.
Yes, I did. The man I knew was not the man that you all know. I knew a young, pure Welsh boy, literally he didn't go down a mine, actually, he'd never been down one, but from the villages of Wales. He spoke Welsh before he spoke English. He was the first I was very proud of it, the first grammar school boy to get a scholarship to Oxford. Wow. He was a brilliant, brilliant young man. His knowledge of poetry was encyclopedic? Yes. Thank you, encyclopedic. And quite clearly, he was a most extraordinary actor, both on the stage and in the films.
The performance of his that I actually am most drawn to is Spy Who Came In From the Cold, because Richard Burton had this magnificent voice, but I sometimes felt he was a little in love with the voice. And I could hear the chant, and it's almost incantatory. In Spy Who Came In From the Cold, it's all taken off, and there's just this residue. Was that from the director, Martin Ritt, or did that come from the actor? There's no acting in that voice in that film.
No, I think it's not from Ritt. I think it was the character that he was playing which gave him no chance to use his magnificent voice, because it would have been totally out of place. And yes, sometimes you do feel he's listening to this wonderful voice, but on the other hand, he had it. So, and with it all, he gave some very great performances.
I want to mention a film that maybe isn't one of your favorites, but I'm going to say now that next to Limelight, I feel this is the film that will last the longest. I teach it all the time. I've never stopped thinking about it. And your performance in it is, you're a stage-trained actress and you can feel the technical training here, but in this film, it doesn't seem as if you're acting at all. It's amazing. And that film is Crimes and Misdemeanors. I love that film. It's haunted me for 20 years. Do you know that film? It is extraordinary. And your relationship with Martin Landau in the film just feels so real. And so the camera just seems to be observing real people talking. I'm dying to ask, was the part improvised, all written down? And how does Woody Allen get the quality of naturalism in all his performances almost all the time, certainly from you and the whole family scenes in that film? I think it's a great film.
I'm so glad you do, and I think it's a very fine film. I've never been completely as convinced as you are about its position in the canon of great films. But it is improvised. You are given, it's a very strange process. Woody Allen gives you, or somebody gives you, what used to be called by old actors sides. That is just your scenes. So in my case, the actually was very small, about 5 pages of dialogue, and you learn it as one is, I'd been taught to do, of course. But when you get there, he wants you to break it down, and he wants it to sound improvised. I didn't find it easy to do, and it's very hard I think, though I'd lived here for 30 years or something by then, for an English person to improvise in an American way. So I found myself saying actually and things I don't think I've ever said, I hope not anyway. But it was a lesson, as everything is, and never too late to learn, and I, in the end, enjoyed it.
But his way of working was most unusual for you.
Well, yeah, it was unusual. It is unusual for anybody. We all felt that, and most of the actors felt very anxious all the time, because you were somehow left out on your own. I can't explain it. But he certainly knew what he was doing, and he knew how to get fine performances out of everybody, even if it was slightly painful for most of us. It was for me. I'm not used to doing that, improvising in that way. I've never really done it. Oh, okay, as I say, it's a good lesson. Never too late to learn.